What's going on, everyone? So I did a video diving into the concerns of our bench scoring, right? Most of our defense is on the bench, right? Think of Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, right? These Max Christie, right? These guys are looked to kind of come in, be kind of off-ball guys, be, cutters, but be defensive guys, right? All of our, or at least the majority bulk of our offensive talent is in the starting unit with Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, which again is fine if your rotation is properly structured, right? If you're properly, plugging pieces in and kind of scattering your starters throughout that can score the basketball, right? Like, for example, Darvin Ham loved to take out like Rui, LeBron, and D'Lo all at the same time, and left Austin Reeves as like the primary playmaker, and he's not that. And then you had Cam Reddish and Taurean Prince, and it's just like you have a bunch of guys that can't create for themselves, are reliant on that playmaker to get them going. Where if instead of Austin Reeves, you kept D'Lo on the court. D'Lo's a guy that can create for everybody, but for whatever reason, Darvin Ham did not like to do that. And also, he didn't utilize guys properly, right? For example, LeBron goes to the bench, you can keep Rui in and slide Rui to his natural position as the 4 and bring in a Jared Vanderbilt or bring in a Dalton Connect or bring in somebody like that, right? To where now Rui can be on the block and you can kind of run some offense through him and he's on the block where he's best at, right? And now it's not all just relying on Anthony Davis and everyone's just packing Anthony Davis and it's just like you can't get him the basketball, so now you have to try to do something and you're just not that guy, right? It's just, I'm hopeful that JJ Redick will do a better job kind of slotting guys and with the rotation. But one of the things that I kind of touched on in that video was sixth man. Who is most likely to have sixth man? And so I wanted to kind of go more in depth. And of course, I want to have a discussion with you all. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. But I wanted to kind of go on guys that I think have the best chance of being that sixth guy, right? Talking about a guy that, I believe that more likely than not, our bench scoring will be more of a collective effort. It'll be 6 from Gabe, maybe 10 from Wood when he's healthy, 6 to 8 from Connect, 6 to 8 from Christie, right? And it's just okay, you got to 35, 40 points from the bench, but it was just a bunch of guys rather than most teams kind of have that one guy that's giving you a bulk of that, going and giving you a 15 off the bench, and then everyone else is trickling in there 5 to 6, and you're at 40, bench points, right? But I do think that there are a couple guys that have the most likely chance, right? I don't think Gabe Vincent is going to be that guy, right? Because he's best as that point of attack 3-and-D off-ball type player. Yes, he's a point guard. He can initiate, but he's not a guy that's crossing dudes over, getting to the rim, creating a bunch for himself. He can get to his spots on occasion and elevate, but it's not really his game. His best as that hey, here, initiator, move off ball, and then have a guy like a D'Lo or LeBron kind of kick it out as a spot-up three-point shooter. Jackson Hayes, right? He's a guy that not out there creating for himself. He needs setup and creation. Jared Vanderbilt, same thing, right? So you kind of go down the list, and there's only a few guys really, right? Cam Reddish in theory, but he's shown that he's not capable of doing that, right? Which is unfortunate because he would be great as 6'8", 7'2" wingspan, hyper athlete, put the ball on the deck, right? He just is not consistent enough and doesn't shoot the ball well enough. So again, that kind of becomes a bit of a problem. It really, to me, kind of boils down to 3, maybe 4 guys. And starting off, Christian Wood, I think, is the most likely, just given his track record of a guy that can go get you 15 to 17 a night off the bench, right? Did it down off the bench, right? So he's a guy that I think Anthony Davis goes out, Christian Wood comes in, or even when LeBron goes out, you could put Christian Wood in, have Christian Wood kind of play the 4, play the 5 at times, and kind of that's where he kind of get his minutes, kind of swap him back and forth, and he can be a primary scoring option for the bench, right? You can have guys where he's on the block, you're dumping the ball down to him, and he can kind of go to work and on occasion step out and knock down the 3 ball, rather than what Darvin Ham did, which was basically convert Christian Wood in just a primary 3-and-D scorer, which that's not what he is, right? He's a big man that on occasion can stretch the floor. He's not a 3-and-D guy that on occasion can go on the block. No, he's a guy that is best around the rim. So you can utilize him in different sets, different actions, runs pick and pop, pick and roll. Right, just be a guy you can dump the ball down to, and he can just go get a bucket. Right, kind of spread the floor. He can also make kick out passes and stuff like that. So he's a guy that I think is most likely to be that game in and game out, 12 to 17 point a game guy, depending on his usage, depending on also how much do you have Rui kind of stay in and he kind of becomes a primary option, right? Well, then that would take away from guys like that. So it also depends on the play style and how, JJ Redick kind of utilizes different guys and how he kind of sprinkles them throughout. But I do think Christian Wood is the guy that's probably the best bet if you wanted to pick a guy that would be most likely to be sixth man for the Lakers. It's probably Christian Wood. But then you go down the list, and you got Max Christie and Dalton Knecht, right? Talk about Max Christie first. Now, Max Christie, we don't have the sample size, like a significant sample size to really judge it, but he has shown on an NBA level the ability to make plays for himself as well as for others. Right? Now, again, it's a very small sample size, and he didn't even get the shot attempts, really, but we saw him on occasion put the ball on the deck, right? Be able to beat guys off the dribble, attack the closeout, elevate, shoot over the top, knock down the mid-range, get to the basket, finish, get and ones, right? Knock down the three-point shot. If he can kind of really expand into that role, I do think he has a real chance at being, again, that 12 to 15 point a game guy where night in and night out he can give you some level of consistency in scoring off the bench. It also depends on how much you're asking him defensively. If you're asking him to basically be your primary defensive assignment, for 20 minutes a game, it's a little tough, especially, again, I'm not saying he can't do it. We don't know, but it's tough for anybody to have to be absolute clamps against like a Devin Booker, and then you're asking him to go get you 15 to 20 on any given night, right? Or on a regular basis. Now, I think it depends on also his role. Do you just kind of let Max Christie be Max Christie at times? Do you let Max Christie kind of just be unleashed? Or do you kind of reel it back and kind of keep him bottled up a little bit and kind of playing in a specific role? That's a big point as well. Same thing with Dalton Knecht, a lot of the same things. Now, the thing about Dalton Knecht, we just haven't seen it at an NBA level. We've seen it in college. We've seen it in summer league, right? His ability to knock down the mid-range, create for himself, beat guys off the dribble, attack the closeout, knock down the three ball, give you a little step back three, attack the rim, finish through contact, right? Dalton Knecht has shown us the array of offensive versatility that he has in his ability to create and create for others also. His playmaking was incredibly surprising, right? I'm not saying he couldn't make the pass, but he was actually very good at getting other guys involved, especially when his shot wasn't falling and stuff. That look-ahead pass, I wouldn't label him as a playmaker, but he's a guy that can make plays, which is really good, right? And so his ability to create for himself and create for others could go a long way for the Lakers, and his potential to kind of come in and be that, again, 12 to like 15 point a game guy. Really, I think a lot of it would be defensively, right? Like how good can he be defensively? Like, I'm not expecting him to be a leader or anything like that out the gate, but can he be serviceable enough defensively to where, like, he's given 15, but he's only given up 8, right? Rather than, like, yeah, he's giving you 15, but he's given up 20. Right now, he's net negative at that point, right? So I think it really just depends on what you get from Dalton Knecht. But again, those are two guys that don't really have the sample size to point to and go, no, those are definitely going to be our two guys. I think Christian Wood is the safest bet. Dalton Knecht and Max Christie, I think, are next in line. And then Jalen Hood-Schifino is kind of maybe the fourth guy. I'm curious to see how much he plays. But we heard last summer league, or last preseason, training camp, stuff like that, that JHS was busting everyone up. We're hearing this training camp. Jalen Hood-Schifino's busting everyone up. Difference is we didn't actually get to see him outside of garbage time. We only got to see him play garbage minutes and only averaged 3 attempts per game and only played 3 minutes a game. I think it was like 1.6 attempts and like 3 minutes per game, right? Like you don't know what you get from him. The only thing we have to go off of is his G League stats, in which he was excellent. shot over 40% from three-point range, gave you 22 a night, 6 rebounds, assists, do a little bit of everything out there on the basketball court, right? If G League, Jalen Hood-Schifino can translate to NBA, Jalen Hood-Schifino, I'm not saying 22 a game. I'm not saying shooting 40% from three, but can he be 12 to 15 a game? Play some real defense, kind of give you a different look compared to D'Lo and Austin Reeves, and also knock down the three ball at, say, like 38%, 37.5%, somewhere in that range, to where he's good enough to where teams have to respect it. They can't just leave him open, and then he can just beat guys off the dribble and get to the basket and use his 6'6" size and strength to kind of finish through contact, create for others, create for himself. If he can be that, then the Lakers, then yeah, he has all the tools to be that sixth man guy, right? But we just don't, again, like same thing with Max Christie, same thing with Dalton Knecht. We don't have the sample size to know that. I mean, if Jalen Hood-Schifino actually is that good, right, then, I mean, you probably have to start him at that point, right? But, you know, I think Jalen Hood-Schifino, Max Christie, and Dalton Knecht are the three kind of question marks, right? Like, they have the potential to be, they very well could be, but we just don't have enough to know for certain. Christian Wood's the one guy we know for certain, if he plays this specific role, he can go get you 15 to 17 a night. That's where I think he's the safest bet. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, like, yeah, man, Christian Wood, he's probably the most likely? Do you think it'll be Dalton Knecht, Max Christie, Jalen Hood-Schifino? Do you think, like, kind of what I think, it'll be a collective effort? It won't be like one guy giving you 15. It'll be like, 5 guys giving you 8, right? Like, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.